everybody, I'm Joey Evans.
And I'm Chris Yee.
He is.
I
am. And we are talking about Wriggle Roulette. Is the W silent?
Wriggle?
Wriggle?
It really depends on when you pronounce it.
Got it.
Yeah.
It is Wriggle Roulette by Oink Games. This is small box, but a nice little party game.
Yeah, a little push your luck.
Push your luck.
What comes in here also actually fits in here.
Yes.
So not bad, right? That you can actually close this teeny little box here.
Exactly. No lid lift. But anyway, we'll first show you how to play the game, and then we'll talk about what we thought. Okay, we are set up for a game of Wriggle Roulette here. First off, this is a very simple game. It is a push-your-luck style game where you're trying to be the first person to get 20 points. What you need to mainly know here is snakes are bad and eels are good. Let's take a look at what they are here. First off, these are eels, and this is a snake, all right? So if you get too many snakes as a group, you are going to bust. All right, and eels are going to score your points. So first off, this plays up to 8 players, and what's nice is the instructions are right here on the side of the bag. Isn't that nice? Really good. So here's what happens. Everyone's going to first off start by doing what they call hand fishing. Yep, it is actually in the rules. It is called hand fishing. Not making that up. But here's how many you grab. 2 players, you can grab 0 to 6, and anything more, then you grab 0 to 4. And here is the way it works. Busting depends on how many players are playing the game. So say there's 5 players, so 11 snakes will make you bust. So what happens is everyone's going to grab between 0 and 4. You reach in, you grab some. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, and here we go. We've got 4. All right, you obviously don't do that. Everyone grabs them, holds them in their hand like this. At the same time, everyone reveals. All right? And I placed it down, and I don't have any snakes, but say everyone else, some other people do. So we've got some snakes. Say there are right here. Say, here we go. Say there are 6 snakes that are pulled, okay? So everybody's got their eels that they got in front of them. Any snakes they pulled go into the center. So now you're looking at it. You're about to start the second round, and you're like, okay, there are 6 snakes out here. All right, and because we're playing 5 players, we have to get 11 busts. Okay, so if everybody here in the 5 people grab 4 snakes and eels, then probably you were going to bust. So now is where it gets interesting. Like I said, you can grab between 0 and 4. If you grab 0, like most push your luck, you're going to go ahead and do this, and that means you're done. All right, you're just going to score the snakes in front of you. You go out, and those snakes go back in the bag for the next round. Or you can keep pushing your luck and drawing. Now, what happens here is, like I said, you can draw 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, so say you draw 4. Several people draw 4, and then all of a sudden you bust. And there are 11 or more snakes being shown when people reveal. For instance, let's do this. Here we go. So let's say I've grabbed, here we go. I do this. Ooh, that's really bad. All right. So I've got 4. Everyone shows, grab 4. Now, because of this, say total, more people have snakes, we have busted. So now whoever has drawn the most out snakes and eels, the most items out, will then bust, losing the ones in their hand and the ones in front of them. Now let me explain that in a different way. Say all of a sudden, say somebody else drew all of these eels just like this. All right, here we go. Say everybody else drew a whole bunch of snakes. They make it bust. And you yourself, well, you were good, and you drew 4 snakes, all right? But everybody else drew 3 apiece, but they all you drew 4 eels. This is very confusing for me. You drew 4 eels. Everyone else drew 3 snakes, causing everyone to bust. Well, you had the most. You were the most greedy. So although you didn't have any snakes in your hand, you bust. So you don't score these, nor do you score the ones in front of you. All right, so it's all about how many you draw, how many snakes you pull out as a group, and whoever drew the most items out of the bag, that person busts. But if you don't score 11, then you get to keep going to the next round until you actually hit that magic number, whatever it is, to bust. All right, so that's pretty much it. That's the way you do. You keep going around and around until you hit 20. And that is the way you play Wriggle Roulette. Okay, so again, that's just an overview. And, it's a very complex game. I couldn't cover everything in that.
Right, the negotiation phase, the production phase, the 4X phase. No, I love a game that has one simple idea. Put your hand in the bag.
That's really what it is. And it's really fun there's so much to love about this game. Number one, it has that visual aspect where just to see that reveal.
Yeah.
That's the best part of a lot of those social deduction games, right? But you have to play 2 hours to get to that moment.
This is only that.
It is, right. It's like take the best parts, stick them in a bag in a little box.
I think one of my favorite parts about this is that pretty much all the rules to the game are printed on the bag.
I know. You brought that up, and really it is. It's like, yeah, there it is. Are you sure you get this many snakes? Yep.
You just tap the bag. How many points wins? You just tap the bag.
It really is. And it also plays very quick, which is good. I think the reading others is the big thing that I really enjoy about this.
And it's done in a subtle way, right? There's a lot of games that are very blatant, like, are you bad or are you good? And this is really like, are you going to draw 3 or 4 pieces? And that sounds really subtle, but it is. But you can tell the people who are going to draw 4 no matter what. Or you're like, are they going to actually just draw 1 this time? Or are they going to zero out, right? That is just enough range that it makes it kind of a fun, dynamic game.
Yeah, and the zeroing out is pretty much the same thing as like Ink and Gold is one that I play a lot that has that feeling. But when people leave, there's that benefit for staying in. More of a benefit if you stay in longer, right? Because like you mentioned, Ink and Gold has it where you can get more treasure.
You split amongst fewer people, yeah.
Right. This one, the odds become more and more in your favor.
Because when people zero out, a great, very simple rule, right? Count up your eels, get your points. Throw those eels back in the bag.
Yeah.
And now the bag is really juicy for everyone, but you're sitting at the cusp of like 2 more snakes busts the whole table.
Right.
You're like, I can keep going.
It's good. Now, I will say the busting mechanic took me a second because it's kind of odd because it's like not if you grab the most snakes. That doesn't matter.
Right.
So you can grab like 3 and they're all snakes, but someone grab, eels. Wait.
Yeah.
Bad as eels.
Bad as snakes.
Bad as snakes. Yeah, 3
Just
snakes.
like in real life.
Somebody grab 4 eels, and they're the ones that bust.
Yes.
It's different, right?
I think, I'm going to say a phrase that I've heard Tom say. I don't know if Tom would love this because I've heard some people say, I don't love games where other people push my luck, right? Someone was kind of overambitious and drew out a whole handful of snakes, and they caused the round to bust, and they really needed the round to last a few more turns to accrue more and more eels for points. Like, no, sorry, it ended because everyone was being greedy kind of collectively at the table. You might not like that, but I think it just adds to the charm of the weirdness of this game.
Exactly. And there's ways to mitigate that. You draw less, so then they bust, you don't. And there is one thing where if you end up busting the first or second round, you're probably not going to win. Towards the end, you're like, I don't think I can catch up at this point.
If you bust and everyone else has a great round.
Right.
But there is that sense where if people zero out because they pull their hand out of the bag, everyone reveal, whoop. If like 3 people zero out, all those eels get thrown back in the bag. You might get lucky and just keep pulling out eel after eel after eel.
You have nothing to lose at that point.
Yeah.
So it's really anyway. So where do you come down on this?
I think this is a good game. I'm really happy. The 2 names, the designers on the box are Jun Sasaki, who has worked with Oink Games on many of their games. I believe he's part of the company, and Bruno Faiduti. Right? This feels like a Bruno Faiduti game, tempered by kind of the Oink Games minimalism. I like that combination. I liked it in Whale to Look, and I like it in this one as well. I'm giving this one a score of a 7.5. I recommend this one for sure. I think that there's a few little things. I love a rule in the book that says if you pull out too many snakes, right, you can only pull out up to 4. If you pull out 5 snakes, you're just kicked out of the round. Do better. I love that, right? And then someone pointed out, like, it is kind of hard to count these little wriggly pieces.
It really is.
You're like, oh, it is kind of hard. You just got to make sure. Okay, no, I don't have 5. I'm not going to accidentally mess up, right? But I find this very charming, very fun. 7.5, great push your luck game.
I agree. There's one thing we didn't talk about, how it is difficult to grab the right amount of snakes. And when you teach it, you're like, you pretty much just are out of the round. You should know better. And it's like when you say that, usually people going, ooh, I got to make sure I count. And there have been a lot of times I thought I had 4 and I ended up having 3. I'm like, perfect. This works out well, So it's like this is great. I'm also coming at 7.5 on this because this is the perfect style of game to play at the end of the night. That's what you and I usually have done. End of the night, you play this, you grab it out, and by the second round, people are like, they get it, and it's got just that unique enough twist on busting and all that, and doesn't overstay its welcome. Fits in this size of a box, which you can throw in the cranny of any game bag. So this is exactly what you're looking for that end of the night. So anyway, that is Wriggle Roulette, or as Chris calls it, Wriggle Roulette.
We will wiggle.
For food. Ooh, Joey Evans.
Chris Ye.
And go Wriggle Roulette.
Snakes!
Hey folks, thanks for joining us for that video. If you haven't yet, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hey, make sure you check out what's happening, where I'll cover an app on an iOS or a Switch device, and you can check it out along with me. Thanks very much. You've been watching The Dice Tower.